Oh my God. Guys.
Oh,
Guys, we've been live talking to ourselves up here for like 7 minutes.
oh my godfather.
I couldn't even do the intro because we've done it already.
I'm gonna wet my pants.
I gotta gather myself. Hey guys, hello again. Okay.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Somebody's got some feedback, so someone's got to turn the YouTube off. It's Chisme. Yeah, it's Chisme.
It's not me.
You turn it off, girl? Okay, hello, Sassafras. Hey, Jen.
It wasn't
Lynn,
on.
I mean, no, it's still there, Chisme. You need to turn YouTube off.
It's off.
Okay, well, I got a feedback on. I can hear myself twice. Hey, Kimmer.
What about
Huh? Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, we good? Or should we like end the broadcast and start over?
I'm gonna wet my pants. This keeps up, I'm telling you.
I cannot believe that we thought we were live for like 8 minutes. I started the video and everything, and Cass is like, Mar, Mar, Mar. I'm like, what? She says, you didn't go. I can't with you, Cass. You didn't
And
push
she
the
says,
live
"What?
button.
What?" She was getting annoyed at me because she thought I was interrupting the video.
I need a good laugh before this live. Hey, Gen X. Oh, shit.
Oh, the things I do for this woman, I tell you. And she shouts at me.
I wasn't shouting, but I thought you were like it's you could. You told me you could hear it, then I thought you were saying that you couldn't hear it.
I
Okay.
could hear the video
Woo.
fine, but nobody else could.
All right, guys, take two. Okay, what are we doing? We're gonna play this
Reintroduce
video.
the video, darling.
All right, I'm gonna play the video that I made. I may upload it, I may not, but I finished it today. It's got my thoughts on it, all the updates basically to the masked man, the cars being towed, and then we'll get into some other updates that came out today. Okay, Chisme, you ready? Okay, Kaz, you ready?
I am, darling, yes.
All right, here we go. God, I can't stop laughing. Everyone, a welcome in. Let's do a summary of the quadruple four murders in Idaho. Ethan and Xana, Kaylee and Madison lost their lives. For what reason? What was the motive? Who did it? All questions that we need answers to. And with that, let's get into it. On the evening of November 12th, 2022, Kaylee, Goncalves, and Madison Mogan were at a local corner club at 202 North Main Street in downtown Moscow between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th, 2022. At approximately 1:40 a.m., Kaylee and Madison were seen on video at a local food vendor.
I think
called
these two are the
Grub Truck
key.
at 318 South Main Street, and used a private party for a ride home from downtown to arrive at their residence at 112 King Road around 1:56 a.m. Investigators have determined that Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were seen at the Sigma Chi House on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive. At approximately 1:45 a.m., Ethan and Xana were believed to have returned to the residence at 1122 King Road. And I know that there was previous reports that Ethan was actually residing at the 112 King Road. However, it was determined that he was only visiting. So, Ethan did not live there. Detectives believe that on November 12, 2022, the two surviving roommates had also been out in Moscow community separately, but returned home around 1 a.m. on November 13th, 2022. The two did not wake up until later that morning. On November 13th, 2022, the same day, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones inside the residence. Multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the location. Officers entered the residence and found two victims on the second floor and two victims on the third floor. Autopsies were conducted on November 17th, 2022. The Loudoun County coroner confirmed the identity of the four murdered individuals and their cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing. The coroner stated the four victims were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds, and each was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of SA. So what is it that we are dealing with here? Do we have a serial killer? Is it a murderer, stalker, a stranger, somebody they knew? When they speak of it being a targeted murder, was it targeted as the house and the four of them, or two of them, or even Xana and the boyfriend woke up? Like, we just don't know. I am absolutely shocked that there has not been an arrest yet. There's some rumors going around regarding a masked kid being seen on a ring cam. We will go over all that new stuff later. We also have to remember the situation with Xana's mom, arrested in Arizona, allowed to go to Idaho, drug charges. We hear from the taxi driver that it's a drug area. So if it was not targeted, if it was not a crime of passion, what was it? If I had to decide between a mass murderer and a serial killer, I would have to go with it definitely and hopefully not, but being a serial killer. Serial killers is a person who murders three or more people in a period of over a month with cooling down. Now, I know this was done 4 people in one night. There's such a big missing piece to the puzzle. Then we have the neighbor. But see, also with serial killers, each victim is usually at a different location. But Danny Rollins, of course, had the couple in Gainesville, the boy and the girl. There's a lot of similarities. And then we have a lot of profilers, retired law enforcement saying that it's a young male and that
I can't
they
see
have
chat, Kaz.
probably not committed a crime
That's
before
okay. I'm
this.
responding.
I don't know. Is it the same person as the couple that was stabbed and she survived and he passed away? The neighbor walking the dog and looking up in the windows? I want to hear your thoughts so far on what you think and who you think may be the perpetrator in this horrible, horrendous, senseless crime. Let me play devil's advocate for a moment. Let's just say that this was or is a serial killer. Currently, there are four main types of serial killers: visionary, mission-oriented, hedonistic, and the power control serial killer. And they're based on the motivations for carrying out their crimes. The hedonistic killer might kill for his own sexual gratification. On the other hand, a visionary killer could murder people because he believes that God is telling him to do so. And then we have the mission killer, organized, plans his crimes, does not suffer from psychosis, targets specific group of people, kills quickly and efficiently, typically avoids a close contact. Well, that might have to rule that out, considering that it was a blade. The lust killer. Ours tortures, mutilates because it gives him a sexual gratification, fantasizes about violence, can find it difficult to control his impulses, prefers close contact, will use knife or hands instead of gun. Starting to sound like if this is a serial killer, he might be multiple attributes of the four together. The thrill killer, the act of murdering someone excites them, enjoys the hunt, and gets off on his victim's terror, often feels inadequate and powerless, loses interest with the victim after death. I am thinking, since they were all in bed, that after the first person was stabbed, I think is when the other three woke up. As for the two on the bottom floor, I do not know. Even if they had earbuds in and they were sleeping, how they could not have heard something like that unless they were bound and they were tied. But we also know the police said that that was not the case. And let's not forget about the comfort killer. Kills for the sake of money and wealth, will often use poison, avoids close contact. Their murders are a means to an end. They won't take pleasure in the kill, can wait a long time between murders. Most female serial killers tend to fall under this a comfort, a profit, a category. If a woman becomes a serial killer, then it is likely that her main motivation for killing is money or wealth. And this is why criminal profilers will often predict that lust, thrill, and power serial killers are male. The power control killer seeks to gain control over his victims, wants to dominate them, has feelings of inadequacy, petrified of rejection, calm, meticulous, and patient, may keep souvenirs of their victims.
There
Out
he
of
is.
all of the four types of serial killers, I'm going to have to go with it being a power control killer. Dominating their victims, the power control killer, and taking away their lives, it gives them a feeling of empowerment. They often tend to be organized. Although the power control killer may sexually assault their victims, this is not done for sexual pleasure. Unlike lust killers, the power control killer uses assault as a tool to exert power and control over the victims. It is the act of dominating someone and taking away their choice that gives them a high. The power control killer may continue to control his victim even after the act of the murder is done. He may return into the body and mutilate it further. He might also engage in necrophilia. The act of keeping souvenirs that remind them of their victims is also common. The killer could take photographs of his victims and keep pieces of their jewelry. We will definitely get into this further. But with that, it is a wrap. And make sure you drop your comments down. All right. Let me go back
Very
and
good,
read
Ma.
this. Huh?
Very good, Ma.
Thank you. Let me go back and read this. So we're going back on to what I dropped in the community post today regarding the link to the. First of all, they're saying right here that the couple, Moscow police issued a statement that the August 2021 fatal stabbing of Travis Jutron, 26, in Salem, Oregon, is not believed to be linked to the killings of Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Madison. And then, it's so sad. This came out from Madonna, the update in the Moscow murders, and this has been cleared that this has nothing to do. Kaz, you read that article. What did it say again?
That the person that was on the motorbike, not motorbike, bicycle, that harassed those people had a well, I call it a switch knife, a folding knife. It wasn't a fixed blade knife. He is now been charged with the misdemeanor, and they say it's got nothing to do with the Idaho 4.
Yeah, he actually turned himself in.
Yeah, which was a good thing.
Yeah. He was riding his bike and a couple of kids were in the way and they said something to him and he pulled out a switchblade and had a few words and then that was it. But they're saying that it's not connected. All right. Can you please hush? He's always talking back.
Can you hear me? Am I echoing?
Hey, are you there, Chisme?
Echo. Yes, can you hear me?
Not really. Hey, Kentucky. Alphabet. Yeah, we have a lot of updates tonight.
What about now?
No, you got like this beeping going on and stuff. Maybe you should try to.
I thought it was me.
Yeah, maybe you should try and go and come back and do whatever you did last night or the night before. Right? It sounds like she's recording the conversation. I think she's recording us.
Uh-oh.
For blackmail.
Uh-oh. Huh.
All right. I'm going to play 15 minutes, guys, of the last part of Nancy Grace. I didn't finish it the other night. I wish I would have because it's getting a little scary. And I can't possibly believe that one of the girls, what came out tonight, the new lab results or something, where Kaz is going to show you after this, where they came out with the lab results tonight of where people were exactly in the house. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, from day one, I'm thinking that guy was up there in those bushes and that wood line just watching. Because we know that Dylan, I forget the other girl's name, I'm sorry, that they're not the ones. Because even if it was somebody that was waiting for the group to get home, or God forbid they were already in the house, those girls got home, what, an hour earlier? An hour and a half earlier than the rest? That's pretty scary to think that the creeper could have been in the house with them.
And also, like I said to you earlier, sweetheart, how did Ethan and Zana was only at the frat house for an hour. Now there's a big gap between when they left the frat house to when they actually got home.
Yeah, but we have that in the timeline. And she just updated the timeline, so that would be interesting. That in the timeline. Oh, no. And she just timeline. Oh, Chisme. It's bad. Oh, Chisme. It's bad.
Still bad.
Yeah.
Okay, be back.
Poor girl. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Hey, B. Well, supposedly they got home at 1:00 in the morning. They were out that night, but they were out separately from the other four. Hey, Patty and Pink.
Hey Jess, I hope sorry, darling. I hope I sent the correct Jessica Diaz a friend request.
Oh gosh. Don't be bringing any weirdos to the neighborhood.
I just sent Jessica Diaz a friend request on Facebook. I hope it's the right one.
The funniest thing is Kaz's Facebook friends with my mom. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. We're just going to listen to the last 15 minutes. Well, a little longer, but after when they came out with like Johnny Law, he was on Law and Crime. Like there's so many updates that I want to play, but I couldn't do it in the time that we have. But oh my gosh. I can just picture the guy like up there in that wood line, just watching them. And
Creepy.
even the way that bar stool is positioned in the sliding glass door, it's like it's holding the door. So if somebody was to run to that door, that the bar stool would jam it. But I'll show that again. Oh, Gen X, welcome.
Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family.
Can you email us, please, Gen X? We're going to send you a welcome package.
I've got Gen X. I know who Gen X is.
Okay.
I'll send Gen X the email.
Okay, guys, here we go. Just this. I know you probably heard it a lot, but just listen. I forget what his name is. I think it's Dale Carson. There's two men, but the one that talks. Oh, here we go. It's really creepy. Did anyone watch Jim Terry last night and see that lady come on with the rabbit head? I'm telling you guys, I had nightmares last night. I don't know what's creepier. The lady with the rabbit head mask on that I had to show Kaz that chopped her ponytail off, or what these guys are going to say right here.
Very curious timing, but that's got to have been established by phone records or someone that spoke and could look at their phone and go, yeah, it was 2:58. Also, we know that one of the girls continually called an ex-boyfriend Jack. They shared custody of a dog, I guess is one way to put it, and were maybe even reconciling. That said, Jack has been ruled out by the family. There was a flurry of phone calls to the.
Okay, wait. Gen X, was that not the creepiest thing you ever seen in your life? I was so spooked out by that. I had to call in and ask her if she was a furry and if her and her boyfriend were bumping in the bunny outfits. It was so creepy. And it wasn't even like a cute bunny. It was like a demonic bunny. Right?
Yeah,
oh my God. I mean, I'm telling you, when that lady's camera popped open, Kaz, and I saw that bunny head, I thought, oh my God, welcome to the purge. Here we go.
Friend Jack right before the murders. So the last call's at 2:58, and they're placing the murders between 3 and 4 a.m. 2 minutes later, yet they say the victims were in bed and likely asleep. To Dr. Jory Crossan joining us, the thinking of this perp to go from floor to floor. If the murders were targeted, why kill 4? Wouldn't it likely be one of the victims was targeted?
Yes, it could be, but then the others just become collateral, like witnesses. But also, with a personality, a frenzy attack, once they start the killing, then it just, the deviance is just produces that behavior to kill again. I'd be real interested in knowing the sequence of who was killed first or how the bodies were found. And, I think you could pretty well determine if we knew that, like who was killed, because Ethan, the boy, the male, seems like he would be one of the first to be eliminated.
Except that he was likely in the same bedroom with a female, his girlfriend, Xana. Yeah. So let's think this through. Dale Carson, Joe Scott Morgan, jump in. We're talking about this scenario, and it's really impossible.
Okay, this Dale Carson, that's definitely his name. I don't know who he is, but I wish that I would have finished this podcast because everything he says, I think, is right on the money. I think it's a little creeper. I just can't believe, honestly, that they haven't caught somebody yet. But in the end of the Brian Enton, they say that there's a person of interest. Who? I check that Lotta County jail log every 30 minutes.
To determine, based specifically on the bodies, which murder was first. But other information could tell us that.
But think about it. The lights are out. You enter a house. You're going to kill somebody. You have a specific target in mind. You go into one room. It's not the target,
creepy.
but you kill them anyway. And you work your way progressively. And you can determine when you find the target's knifing is going to be different. And one of the things that you mentioned that's really peculiar to me is that if someone calls and says somebody's unconscious here and they're dead, there's no way you can stab somebody in the chest and really eviscerate them without leaving a tremendous blood trail. So you don't call the police and say, look, there's somebody unconscious. You say there's blood everywhere. Somebody's dead.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. But now we have an article from Kaylee's father who's going to explain to us how that unconscious call was made. I don't think so. It's something so wrong.
Exactly.
Something's wrong with that.
Nancy,
Why have we gone quiet?
Do you know what I'm saying? You can't. I'm trying to gather that. If you walked into the living room, you would have to see blood from the third floor to the second. No.
Yeah, unless this scenario that I said earlier on, unless he wiped the knife.
On the sheets. Oh, that's so creepy.
Hello? How does it sound now?
Let me see. Oh, hello. You sound good.
Testing.
1, 2, 3, yay, choose me.
I'll let you
Bueno.
phone.
Mucho bueno. Bueno mucho.
Está bien, sí.
Bien. No lo sé. Oh, you know what she does to me when we're talking on the phone? She calls me cuss words in Spanish and then hangs up
Oh my
on me.
gosh.
She's like, you puta pendeja. Click it. I'm like, what the hell?
Whatever, girl.
Killings were so instantaneous. Yes.
She says, you
Which
better
belies
answer, bitch.
the argument that there are multiple stab wounds.
What about it, Joe Scott?
Yeah, I'm thinking there is an outside possibility that science could have the answer here, and this is what I believe. If there is if they are careful in collecting their evidence, the person who was the first to be attacked will have the least amount of others' DNA on them. And what I mean by that is once that knife, assuming, of course, that they're using only one instrument, once that blade is introduced into that first person's body, they withdraw that blade, okay? They now move over to the next person and then reintroduce that blade into the next victim's body and so forth and so on.
there's your sequence.
And you have what's referred to as commingling of blood and certainly biological material, DNA. So the person, if they work their trace evidence right at the scene, the person that has the least amount of DNA from someone else, there's a higher likelihood that person could be the first victim, Nancy.
Guys, take a listen to our Cut 43. This is Sarah Robinson along with family members.
Doesn't make sense.
He says Xana was in constant communication with her family and nothing about that night seemed unusual.
The door locks with the number code. Every time you open it, like I had to go around the house and get in the house because of the number code. So they either knew that or they just kind of went around and found the slider open.
A father struggling to understand how this could have happened. Why Xana?
They were just hanging out at home.
Yeah.
Xana was hanging out at home with her boyfriend.
The code on the front door, the sliding glass door on the side of the building, affixed to a little patio, kind of a wraparound patio. What's the point of entry? Because there you will find fingerprints. And I say absolutely you will, because this type of frenzied attack is not conducive to the mind of a killer who would wear gloves and then conduct 4 frenzied attacks. That is inconsistent. What do we know investigators are doing right now? They are retracing the steps. 2 of the victims were at a sports bar and then a food truck. 2 of the victims had been to a fraternity party at the Sigma Chi house and then came back to the residence on King Road. Why? Because they are looking for suspects. Take a listen to Amanda Rowley at Crim.
Investigators believe Madison and Kaylee were at the Corner Club on Saturday from 10 to
Pamela, no. The phone call originated inside of the house from one of the surviving roommate's phone, but it was not the surviving roommate that made the call. Yeah, that came from, the police confirmed that. It came from the house, one of the surviving's phone, but one of the people that was summoned to the house. And then they spoke to multiple people. I can't wait till that phone call is released.
p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Then they were at the grub truck on Main Street at 1:40 a.m. 5 minutes later, the map says they returned to their home on King Road. Investigators also believe Ethan and Xana were at a party at Sigma Chi from 8 to 9 p.m. Saturday night, then returned to the King Road home at 1:45 a.m. on Sunday. The hope is that someone might remember being at or near these locations around the same time and potentially saw something suspicious or relevant to the investigation. Police are asking those people to call the tip line number or email that information.
The tip line is 208-883-7054. Repeat, 208-883-7054.
And before I forget, I want to say this because, I see a lot of squirrels in my world. But I started watching the Casey Anthony thing because I happen to have Peacock. I couldn't get past, I got into the first one in like 20 minutes of part 2. And I'm telling you, she made me sick. It's like I couldn't do it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not reliving how much I couldn't stand you 14 years ago. Yeah, Casey Anthony is nuts.
054.
In my opinion.
Dale, is that you jumping in? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's just a dead end street. Look, the individual who murdered these folks was laying in wait back up on the hill, came in through that sliding glass door, and perpetrated the crimes. He has no association with other people, and you're likely to find that the individual is either living in the woods, like individuals in prior cases that are not part of polite society. They're not part of our society. And you can see them. They're living homeless. They're different than us, and they feel alienated from us. And that's one of the driving features that causes them to injure us, aside from any other psychological problem that they have.
What do you make of that to you, Dr. Joy Crossan?
I agree with it. I think this person's going to be like a transient person with no real ties to that community. In college towns, they can blend in real easy with the students, and the people, and go unnoticed, be anonymous, basically. And then, just like Dale was saying, if they get a fixation, stalking, or see a target, and then they're gone. They're in and out.
Okay. Joe Scott Morgan, how does that jive with police theories that this was a targeted attack?
Well, yeah, I think that there's a chance that this individual has been watching for a while. Again, I go back to this idea of the points of observation. If they have been tracking these girls, listen, it would have been the perfect environment that night. If they had been watching them on any level, watching them go to parties, they're walking around. Remember when we saw that image at the food truck, they're kind of jovial, laughing, cutting up. They had been out partying that night, and they were perfect targets at that moment in time for somebody that was looking to strike. And again, brutally cold at night. This person feels comfortable moving around in that environment. You saw everybody was wearing hoodies, jackets, and all that sort of thing. They would have to be comfortable in that environment walking around. So that might go to the point that they are transient, that they're not part of polite society.
We are learning more and more about the timeline. That's the first thing you do is try to establish.
What do you guys think about that? What do you feel about that, Kaz? Creeper in the tree line.
Well, yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense because that is fairly dense tree foliage, even for that time of the year. And I can't see somebody coming through the front door. It's too open. There's too many apartments. The house that's just off the car parking area is too close. I mean, the comings and goings of that house is quite apparent to people. So, I think it coming in the back is more private for him to get in and out of. So I think that's on point.
Okay, look at this picture. Drone footage of the house appears to be no blood trail leading out the sliding glass door, second floor patio. Fast forward to 9 minutes in. Also take notice of the chairs that are knocked over. Look at how this sliding glass chair is sitting in this window. There is no way it's going to knock over and slip right into. I mean, look at it. It's just fitting in there perfect. Like maybe it's blocking the door
the
in
bottom
case.
leg. The bottom leg is keeping it from closing all the way.
And then you got the lip on the top part over that fit into that little insert right there too.
Yeah. It's wide open.
I think they came into that second balcony, went into that sliding glass door, closed it behind them, put the chair down, and I think that, unfortunately, I think Maddie and Kaylee were the targets. I'm going to give Xana's mom a pass. Okay, let's just finish this, guys. I mean, they came out and they said that this was not drug related. Now, does that mean that it's not anything to do with Xana's drug bust? I don't know. Could be, right? Could be anything.
Yep.
What we do know is we have a guy out there around the Idaho, Moscow area that has stabbed and butchered 4 college kids in their house. And he's still loose.
They better do
I think we
something
lost him.
because I'm sure he enjoyed it.
I agree. We got some updates. It's getting a little weird, especially when Kaz shares this next article with you with the preliminary report that came out where they're telling us where everybody was in the house, like, but they won't tell us if any of the killers' DNA was found.
Calls on office house near the University of reveal new clues.
So I was able to break the timeline on Kaylee and Maddie the night of, from about 10:15 until shortly before 3 a.m.
Olivia Gonzalez says she discovered at least 6 calls from her Kaylee's phone between 1:06 and 2:52. Her boyfriend in early morning is now
because that Gonzalez was up at 2:50. 2 p.m. Kelly was up at 2:50 on the phone. Yet, Audrey Conklin, they're starting the timeline of the murders at 3 a.m.
Right. So police have said that between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. is when the murders occurred. So they could have been asleep. But yeah, phone activity shows that they were up and trying to contact people right before the murders occurred.
It's very creepy to Dr. Jory Crossan to know that one of the victims, Kelly, is on the phone at 2:52 a.m. and the timeline says the murders at 3 a.m. Could someone have been watching and when the lights are turned off, they enter the home?
They could have already been in the home.
Oh, God.
Okay.
And waiting, for settling down, like hearing a conversation on the phone. Okay, let the phone get hung up. One thing you mentioned earlier about the weapon, and they were looking and checking at the stores to see if somebody bought. I would think this individual, this weapon is really important to him. I don't think that.
When he said that, I'm telling you guys, I was just, welcome back, Jen. I was like, hey, Dragonette, waiting in the house. Well, if that's the case, which we don't know, but no, without a doubt, Dylan and Brittany were not anything to do with this target. I hate to think it, but I think it was Kaylee and Madison.
What about Zana?
I don't know. I probably think that he started from the top and, well, no, Kaz is going to break it down because the second floor had Zana and Ethan on it. So you would think that if he was going for the 2 girls that he would probably have known Ethan was there if he was creeping in the bushes.
They just went out and bought it. I think they've had it for a while. This has been part of that identity, if you like, for a better psychological term.
Well, it is actually an identity. Every time that we go camping, when we run into other campers, a lot, and it's usually men, will have huge hunting knives and sheaths attached to their belts. The way people will attach like an iPhone or some other instrument or tool to their belts. These knives are attached to them. So that does speak to their identity.
Yeah, and here in the South, everybody carries a knife. They got those clip-on ones.
I don't know about that because I don't know a single soul that carries a knife other than the scout troop leader? The man, not the woman. Okay, well, you guys go ahead and carry. That is to Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police.
On the morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was. On the evening of November 12th, Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison were at a bar in down Moscow. They arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. on the morning of November 13th. Ethan Chapin and Xana Carnodal were at the Sigma Chi house before also arriving home at approximately 1:45 a.m. Two surviving roommates were also out in the community. They returned home at approximately 1 a.m. and did not wake up until later that morning.
Okay. That's all I wanted to play. When he talks about the creeper being, how they both think that this man was stalking the house, the girls, whoever he was stalking. I mean, maybe he had a fixation on Ethan or Xana. We don't know. We can only speculate. Hey, Lana. But he did want something in the house.
Plenty of windows, where you can see inside, and if they're on a routine where they go out and party, then they know they're gonna around what time they're gonna be home.
Yeah.
Well, especially if the guy.
Go on.
No, go ahead, Cass.
I was just going to say, if they had somehow left that door, hadn't locked it properly, or it left ajar, and he saw it wasn't locked properly, and he was in the house waiting, that was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Lying in wait.
But I have
let me show you guys something scary too.
Okay.
Do you guys remember, like, the first time I showed, we went to Google that night and we looked for a picture of the K knife?
Yeah.
And the picture we found was the picture that was in my last video. Okay, let me just show a video real quick from Johnny Law, then I'm going to give it to Kaz. He was actually on Law and Crime the other night. No wonder why he won't come on my little show. Huh. Who'd even think that he was going to come on my show?
I was hoping.
Me too. I saw him on Law and Crime. I'm like, yeah, he's not coming over here yet. But he did respond. Okay. So he came out with this video. It's only a short. But I thought it was interesting when he pulls out his K knife.
Said that it appears that it was the same knife used to stab all the victims. Now, I think this was at the autopsy itself, and that the edge weapon appeared to be something like a K-bar. Now, I happen to have a K-bar because I was in the Marines for 8 years in the military before getting into 25 years of law enforcement. But this is what a K-bar is. This is what us Marines have, okay? It is a very, very sturdy edged weapon. It's 1095 carbon steel blade. It's powder coated. And the big thing with these kind of knives is it's got a full tang to it. Full tang means that this blade goes all the way into the butt of this blade, one piece. So there's no weak points where this can
Could
snap.
you imagine?
Okay, so it's very, very sturdy. And it's it's leather wrapped like this, and it's got a quillion right here to protect the hand. This piece right here. She also said that it appears that it was the same knife used to stab all the victims. Now, I think this was at the autopsy itself, and that the edge weapon appeared to be something like a K-bar. Now, I happen to have a K-bar because I was in the Marines for 8 years in the military.
Those girls are so thin that it looks like the knife would fit right through their body, going right to the back.
Yep. And they're saying they probably think it's that knife, like the two on Nancy Grace said, because of that hand guard thing, that they probably had bruises on the body that looked like. So that means if that's the case, that guy was like, it was like a frenzy.
Yeah. Maybe he was on something hallucinogens.
I don't
Well,
know. He was on
don't know what
something.
it was on, but
Hey, Lily. All right, Kaz, you want to show them what they're giving us so far on the 2-week leak on the forensics?
okay, hang on. Oh,
It's the one that has the exclusive retracing the murder steps.
I want to give you my new theory in a bit.
Hey, Jay Hughes. Oh, we're gonna get some theories, but this was out like at 10 p.m. tonight.
yeah.
You're pulling it up, right, Kaz?
Yeah, darling. It's just my
I'm just
moose
making
wasn't
sure that I'm not
cooperating.
supposed to. I'm
No,
not supposed to
my
be
moose
pulling it
wasn't
up.
cooperating. I was going left, it was going right.
Can
Oh,
I
the
tell you my
mouse.
theory now?
Go ahead. What's your theory, Chisme?
I'll make it quick. Okay, remember I said something about Arabic? And so, they don't really like for their women to party or even talk or show their bodies or their face. So earlier Mar was saying, well, I don't think there's many Arabics in
You
Moscow.
said Islamic.
Well, yeah, Islamic. But
You didn't say Arabic. You told me
I'm sorry.
Islamic.
Okay, well, Arabics study Islam. Okay, so I went to look at to see if there were any Arabics in Idaho University, Moscow, Idaho, and they have a
Yeah,
club. They have a club there, in Arabic Club of Idaho University. So I'm sure there's students there. And
there
so,
probably are.
what if someone from there, that doesn't like for females to do this and that and be active and shout and be friendly and have boyfriends?
That
So
could,
that's a
I
new
mean,
theory. I'm not
that could
saying it is.
explain. Because listen, if we go on what the two guys on Nancy Grace said, and this was the stalker that was stalking the girls and waiting or could have been in the house, whatever. I know that I keep saying this, but they're saying that there was no sexual assault. So what Chisme says could make sense in that scenario. It could be a lot of things. You okay over there, Kaz?
Yeah, I'm just listening. I'm just waiting for you to stop talking.
Oh, we're good. We're waiting. We're talking
Yeah,
because we're
that's
waiting
it.
for you.
Oh, okay. I just share my screen. I thought I'm not going to interrupt because I get in trouble for interrupting.
I hear you.
Oh, shush.
I'm glad I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
I am so turning my mic
Celery.
off for this.
All right. So, good. Hush, little Layla. All right. Exclusive. Retracing the murderer's steps. Blueprints show where each Idaho student was found, stabbed to death in their off-campus 3-story house, with the slayings taking place on the top 2 floors while 2 surviving roommates slept downstairs. So, let's move it down. Floor plans of the off-campus house where 4 Idaho students were brutally stabbed to death show where each of the 6 friends were sleeping when the slayings took place. Records of the schematics of the property at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, obtained by the Daily Mail, showed the layout of the building.
Wait, Kaz, you're roboting. Is it only me or is Kaz roboting? Chisme.
A little bit. And I know mine is staticky.
No, you're roboting. Yeah, just pop out, Kaz. Just pop out and come back in.
Oh, crikey.
I know. We got to hear you clear, though. Yeah, we're getting on her, Joe. We have to treat her gently so we don't get our ass kicked.
Sheesh.
We got to treat her gently, Joe. We got to come at it like calm, cool, and collective because if not, she'll beat her out. Oh, here she is. I can't talk about her.
Damn right. I hear ya. I hear ya.
Okay. There you go.
Is that better? All right. I shall continue. All right. So, here we are. Kaylee and Madison were found on the top floor. And I hate what they've written here. Knifed to death in their bed. Well, we now know from Kaylee's dad that they were in one bedroom in the same bed, sharing the same bed. The young college lovers, Ethan and Zana, were found on the front second floor bedroom. The surviving roommates, sophomores Dylan and Bethany, who were home at the time of the slaying, slept on the first
Hang
floor.
on, Kaz, you're still roboting.
Holy poop.
I don't know why. It was just when you pulled up this article.
Sounds good. She sounds good to me.
Okay, maybe it's my internet. If she sounds good, guys.
All right, I'm going to do a sound test. How do I sound, guys?
You sound good right now.
Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was
Yeah, you sound good. You sound good until you pull in that Daily Mail. Let's try it again and see what happens.
All right, I'm pulling it back up.
Your accent's too sexy to robot.
Too sexy.
We got to be gentle with her, guys. Chisme and I would get our asses kicked.
Yeah, I just went through a humongously bad migraine in the past couple of days, so don't mess with the cats.
That's okay.
All right, am I good?
I think so.
All right. The surviving roommates, sophomores Dylan and Bethany, who were home at the time of the slaying, slept on the first floor. This floor sits below grade and opens onto the gravel parking lot in the front of the building, which we all know. So let's move down. And we all have seen this photograph so many times. Okay, let's get down to this plan. All right, so yeah.
Could it have been the builder?
This home was built quite a long time ago.
Yeah, like the 70s.
Yeah.
They remodeled it though.
Yeah,
they remodeled it and added on recently.
They added 2 floors to it. 1 floor at one time, and then they added the 3rd floor at a later time.
Yeah.
I mean, we could pull the permits up on it, but I don't think that's really what I'm interested in. I'm so interested in checking the Latta County Sheriff's Office every day.
You can see from the front facade, that's where Dylan's bedroom was. That's where Bethany's bedroom was. All right, so they were on the ground floor. Then this is the second level where the other bedroom was. This is where Maddie's bedroom was. Upstairs is where Ethan and Zana was. Now, we know there was only Kaylee had already packed up and taken all her things back home because her new job started in the new year. So the only permanent residing housemates was Dylan, who was a newish resident, Bethany, Maddie, and Zana. So there's only actually 4 girls residing in there on a permanent basis because Kaylee had left. Ethan was only visiting Zana, and Kaylee only came back to show Maddie her new car.
Exactly. So that, hey, oh, look at Dr. Lipschitz. Hello. I like that name.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
What did he say, Kaz? My eyeballs are going. Dylan's room is right below Xana's. How doesn't she wake up? I have a feeling
Because
that
she
what?
might have been in another room.
No, they were definitely in the same room.
Yeah, Kaylee and Maddie were in the one bedroom because Kaylee didn't have a bed to sleep in. And Dylan was going to move up into Kaylee's old room, but she hadn't done it as yet.
Nope. So then here's the question. If the target was Kaylee and Maddie, but Kaylee has already left because she was graduating in December. She had a job waiting for her, all of that. I mean, I'm starting to think that this was definitely maybe somebody who was stalking the girls. Like somebody not in their circle.
Yeah, because this is incorrect. They're saying Kaylee was found in 3, Maddie was in 4. That is incorrect. Kaylee and Maddie were actually found in Madison's bedroom. Ethan and Xana were found in Xana's bedroom, which is off the laundry here.
Unbelievable. Yeah, somebody that was not part of the first act had to have woken up. I mean, there's no way.
Yeah. So the deck is off here, off this area, the master bedroom area. Isn't it? Is the deck off the...
I mean, I wonder how long he was actually inside the house for.
Well, that's a very good question.
Before he left, like,
And to get out, I mean, to come in off
I
this
was going to say
deck there. Go on, love.
I forgot. I did.
Just me put the weed down.
I don't have any. I have a vape.
All right, go ahead, Kaz. What are you gonna? What did you say, Chiz?
I said, send me some.
You see that little view right there? I want to know. So let's flip that page around. So whose room is that, Kaz? Up there on the top floor with that sliding glass door that has the bar stool stuck in it. Whose room would that have been?
That would have been, that's Madison's room.
Okay. See, and they're taking this picture. No, it's on the other side, actually. So whose room would have been on the other? Kaylee's.
Kaylee's is on the other side.
Uh-huh. And the bar stool was stuck in that downstairs window right there below Maddie's bedroom.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. So my theory is to come in here into the kitchen, and because the first bedroom that's in here that was occupied is Xana and Ethan. And then they come up the stairs and that's the first bedroom they come into is Maddie's, and that's where Kaylee and Maddie.
Xana and Ethan were on the second level, but they faced the front of the house. Hey, Liz Hernandez.
Yeah.
not the
But
back.
it's on this floor.
But
yeah, I'm just saying this is the second floor here.
yeah, I'm going to show you guys a picture. This is not the side where the creeper was hanging out. He was hanging out on the other side, is my opinion. But no, go ahead and finish your article.
That is the
But
finish of the article. No.
Oh, okay. I have a view from the creeper's eyeballs, and this was so creepy. It could have been somebody that knew them. It could have been someone that went to school with them. It's somebody, and I want to know who the hell it is. I wouldn't let my kid go back there.
Hell no.
I mean, there's a threat. There's not a threat. There's a threat. There's not a threat. I mean, which is it? Do we have a serial killer on our hands? Okay, where is that picture? Here it is. The eye of the view of the creeper. Hey, Fiona. Oh, this picture this made the hair on the back of my neck completely stand up, because this is where I believe the creeper was hanging out. So the view that you had was the other side, Kaz. So this is wrapped around. So this would have been Kaylee's room.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? It's the other view of the picture that you just showed. I think that's the view of the creeper where he was standing out there watching.
Yeah, I remember
So if you
said there was a hill there, so they could shimmy up that pole.
This is on the left side of the house if you were to walk up to it and walk down that tree line. I think this is actually where Chris McDonough found the glove. I could be wrong, though. Somewhere around there. But that's creepy. Maddie's room is on the right. Okay, so Maddie and then Kaylee's room was on the left. Interesting.
If someone went up through there, and they went into the room through the balcony or upstairs on the third floor, and then they ran. When they saw him, they ran. And maybe they ran over to where Ethan was so he could protect them.
Right?
Yeah, they don't have a blood trail. Dr. Lipschitz asked. Lipschitz.
Look at this, though. This right here is interesting. I didn't see this earlier. Look at these pictures.
Yeah, they did find the gloves by the garbage.
So here it says they're talking about the lab results coming back. Brutally murdered at an off-campus residence. So I do know that each type of testing, some take longer than others. And I also do know that there have been results that have been returned, and those go directly to the investigators. So that way it can help, again, paint the picture that we keep talking about. Idaho State Police Communications Director Aaron Snell told Fox Wednesday. Snell declined to comment on whether DNA that did not belong to the 4 victims or 2 surviving roommates had been found at the scene. $113 pieces of physical evidence, 4,000 crime scene photos, and 488 digital media submissions. 4,000 crime scene photos. Hey, Queen. Hey, Money. Hey, Nita. Can you imagine? 4,000?
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
The scientists from the Idaho State Police Forensic Services have been working 24/7 in the lab, trying to get the results as quickly as possible. Authorities have not identified a suspect in the case. But then,
Joe Hart, I am originally from the UK, but I've lived in Australia for a very, 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 very long time. Do I 100% believe the Daily Mail? Heck no. Heck no.
Negative. Kaz, I figured out how much the 700,000 fentanyl would be for whoever's selling them if they sell them at $5.
All right, hit me with it.
$3,500,000 in profits.
Oh,
Well, I don't know
really?
Damn.
if they're at $5 each and you have 700,000 pills, but I don't know how much they are. But I just thought, well, maybe $5 each. But I know they're probably more. So if they're at $5, $3,500,000 now, and if the mom went to jail and they confiscated that, the drug dealers, aren't gonna like that.
Heck no. Heck no.
Yeah.
But
And they're
she
good
got
at
a
not
$50,000 bond for that, though. That surprises me.
Kaz, will you pull up the Brian Ensign interview, please? I can't. It's not loading for me.
For you, Ma, anything I do, anything for you, dear.
Hey,
I don't know
Edward.
what.
I know you would.
I think those.
Why isn't
After those
anybody
drugs I
checking
had
it?
yesterday.
Yeah,
those
she's
drugs
mean to
got me.
us.
Oh, right. Kaz is the mean one. Why? So Edward says, why isn't anyone checking on maybe a maintenance worker or a staff member at college did this? It's a
Very
good
good
question,
point.
I'm sure.
A science
Why
teacher.
haven't, hey, my elderly cat, still nobody even mentioned if they're collecting DNA samples from students or people at the campus. So what does that tell you right there?
Yeah.
It's someone off.
I mean,
They think it's someone off campus.
No, you would just think that if they were completely oblivious and they did have a DNA sample, that they would be collecting DNA samples from people in the area.
Maybe they are.
Well, if they were, I'm sure we would have heard about it. Like in the Abby and Libby, we knew that they were coming and getting DNA tests. True. That's right, Queen. We don't, but you would have thought that something would have slipped. Even somebody that was asked to take a DNA test or a mouth swab that wanted to get 5 minutes of fame, maybe they would have come on and said, they're taking DNA. Like, you hear nothing about that.
No.
And I think if it was happening, we would know something or hear a rumor or something. Mm-hmm. All right, you can go start when you want, Kaz.
Yeah, the squirrel.
I know. Well, they didn't need it in the Abby and Libby case. They said like people just volunteered. If you're innocent, just go give your DNA swab.
Yeah.
I know you can't just take it, but they're not even asking for people to come and give it. Okay, I'm micing down.
Let me know if you can hear it. Oh, it's filming. Hang on. Let me get back.
Are they?
Yes.
I'm doing your tricks.
Back with me, Brian. I have a couple of questions, and I'm going to start as you into this. You show me question. L7.
Hang on a minute. What am I doing?
I don't know. Round the move and question while you're
Oh God. Sorry about this.
Are you at the back?
Yeah. I'll show you real quick. This is the front.
Oh my gosh.
Should work this time.
With what
Oh, come on.
you show?
It's been a scrupulous.
Second question. L7 backside night. Show us around, but if you can, get on the move. And I'm going to ask you the second question while you're able to show us. Or are you there right now? Are you at the back?
Yeah. I'll show you real quick. This is the front. You can see the police officer, and I'm going to walk you to the back. If you want to go to the second question, we'll walk to the back.
Yeah, the second question's from Blink Twice for me on Twitter. And that person says, I saw police canine at the scene, but I haven't seen any news indicating what a dog was used for. Was a dog used at all to try to track where the killer went when he left the house, which is, another good reason to be walking to the back of the house where you are.
Okay, first of all, let me show you. This is the back of the house. They've got the crime scene tape up here, but there is no police guard or police car.
Now that's where you're thinking of, isn't it, Ma? Where you think they're on the road there? Is that where you think they were hiding? Ma? She's not talking to me now.
Yeah, that's where I think the creeper was. Watching right there.
The only trouble with that is that's a thoroughfare.
Yeah.
So he would be seen if he was there. Because that's an actual road.
Yes, that's where I believe.
Guarding anything. And by the way, there's this big
out.
parking lot back here, which I found interesting the whole time we've been here.
He might have been hanging out on both sides.
Right
Who knows?
behind,
Probably watching
behind
all
the
of
house.
them.
As far as the canine, the dog, I haven't seen any dogs out here early on. They may have used a dog to try to track someone in the backyard here, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. This next question comes from Dylan on Twitter. If there's been $1 million provided in the efforts to solve this crime, that came from the state, why has no reward money been offered? Why would they wait, or would they wait for any DNA lab results to come back with no matches and then announce a reward for information? At what point do they decide to announce a reward in a case?
Good question. I asked the police that today. They said they're still getting a lot of tips right now, so they don't feel the need for a reward. But if things slow down and they don't make progress, a reward could be coming in the future.
Okay, this next one is from Still Believe in Hope on Twitter. And they ask regarding social media. It's a good question considering our last segment. What is the law with regard to social media? Can the FBI get information from Meta, Instagram, Snapchat, which IP addresses looked at the last few photos or posts before the murders? Meaning, users can't see if someone visits a page or looks at a picture, but Meta can. IPs that stalked their pages.
I think it's possible. You would know better than me, Ashley, but I would think they would need a subpoena, correct, in a situation like that?
Yes. Very often, and early sort of in the digital revolution, it was very, very difficult even to get passwords from like Apple to open a phone in a criminal investigation, but they've sorted through a lot of that. And a subpoena usually does the trick. And there is more information than you can imagine on a digital popcorn trail.
There you go. So, yeah, so that was on that one. Now, shall we go into the timeline? Oh, my mouth is not working correctly. Too many drugs yesterday.
You okay?
And it was the legal type drugs I had, guys. None of the illegal type. I had jabs in the boom. Shall we go over the timeline that Sleuthy did? Sleuthy Goosey?
Well, I want to hear what the father says about the unconscious phone call real quick.
Okay.
Kaylee's father, I think
Okay.
it is.
Okay. I will pull that up for you.
Or is it Xana's father? I've seen so much today, I can't remember. Okay, Fox, listen to me. I'm not interested in picture tonight.
No, it's been good.
Okay.
So fingers crossed.
Chilling Idaho police haven't said college murders isolated incident. Come on, don't be mean. Fox
There's
hates
no
me,
wheels on
guys.
the bus. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon.
Come on, Fox, be nice. I'm at the
Oh
end of
dear,
my
really?
router. Oh, it will start.
Yeah.
It's like the wheels on the bus.
Here with us now to discuss.
Oh, she
former
is
homicide
pretty.
detective
Okay.
Brian Foley. Brian, what do you make of the handling of this investigation 3 weeks in now?
So
She's rolling, she's rolling. The wheels on the bus are smooth.
Look, kids don't have enough to worry about going to school and their safety. Now they have to worry about this. Police are really going to have to manage their communications now at this point, and they do this through three certain steps. One is to express concern. They've done that. Two is to ask for help. They've done that too. The third thing is build confidence, and I think they've done a good job in that to this point. One, they ask for help from bigger agencies.
Oh, gosh. I give up. I give up. Yep. I think I'm out of internet, guys. Let me see something. That sucks. Okay, let's see.
I don't think it's you, sweetheart, because I'm trying to load it
Kaz, can you
myself.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No.
I can hear you.
Kaz, can you hear me? I give up.
Yeah,
All right, I
can
guess
hear
that's
you.
going to have to be it.
Can't you hear me? Ma. Guys, can you hear me?
All right, let's try it one more time.
Go out and come back in.
And Kaz is gone, so.
No, I'm not.
Play. No.
Can you hear me? Guys? All right, so, yeah, I thought you could hear me. It's just Ma can't hear me, so I can hear Ma. So she just can't hear me. The joys of fun. My goodness, you two. I know, Shredder. Well, I'll play, if she doesn't come back in a second, I will play the video because I have the video all primed and go. Thanks, Lana. I'll wait a second and see what happens. Money Moves is saying that you've been asking if there's multiple stab wounds above the neck. That tells you. Here she comes. Add to the stream, Ma.
Oh,
Thanks,
God.
Money Moves. Can you hear now? Because everybody could hear me.
Yeah, I was talking away. I said I'm ready to.
We could hear you, darling. You just couldn't
Yeah,
hear
well, I
us.
got kicked out. My internet's not good. Between the
Well,
rain
I've got
and
this. I have this video primed, so to save your internet if you want me to play it.
Okay, go ahead. This is turning into a mess.
And I know we both don't like it when it turns into a horribleness. So here we go. I'll show this one.
Brian, what do you make of the handling of this investigation 3 weeks in now?
So look, kids don't have enough to worry about going to school and their safety. Now they have to worry about this. Police are really going to have to manage their communications now at this point. And
See, it's their video, Ma. It's not you. It's not me. And I'm on broadband. I'm not on the router. I'm not on anything. It's Fox. I'm going to stop and I'm going to read it. Doesn't be nice.
it's a targeted attack. They haven't said that. And that's chill. The Moscow Police Department right away decides this is probably too big for us and we need all the help that we can get. If you look at that press conference last Wednesday, you saw that state trooper basically give the crime scene 101 class during his press conference. So in the absence of case details, specific things to the investigation that they can't talk about because those things are only known, those facts are only known to the victim, the suspects, and possibly the police. In the absence of that, he starts talking about their crime scene techniques. Now, what that's going to do is, one, give the reporters something to nibble on, but two, it will help the general public have confidence that law enforcement is doing everything they can to catch that. And you say that there's a lot of police on campus. You know, that can go both ways. That can cause fear, but it can also help people to feel safe at the same time. So it's up to them to communicate that, hey, we don't have cops out here right now because we have a threat where we know there's something going on, but basically this is to make you feel safe and help the educational process get back on its feet.
I can't even imagine what it's like for those college students returning to campus, although we have seen that some have chosen not to. The school has said they're going to try to accommodate some of those students with virtual learning. I know there's fundraisers going on to provide some of those students with alarms to carry around on campus in case they see something, they can say something. But this is not the concerns you hope for any college student to return to campus with. The police are going to have a huge task to respond to the growing number of 911 calls they are reported that they're getting now.
So we're in a different era now with, I hate to say it, as a homicide investigator, when I first heard of the facts of this case, my gut feeling, serial killer. And I hate saying that, and I don't know the circumstances. Just my gut feeling. Every knife homicide, it seems like, is very passionate, very emotional, very loud, very violent, with a struggle. This is different. It's an anomaly. It's almost like it was emotionless, where you have 4 people killed, a suspect who's able to maneuver around, we assume, a dark apartment, and go to 4 different places, or 3 or 4 different places, and commit these murders. So let's look at what police have not said. After every homicide, the police department, almost not every homicide, but most homicides around the country, after the police will come out and say something along the lines of, "Hey,
Interesting.
Incident, targeted attack." They haven't said that, and that's chilling. They've said, in fact, quite the opposite. Be vigilant, lock your doors, look out for one another. Please send us
Well, not
help.
initially, but
This
then
is
they
a
came
new
back and
era
said
we're in,
that,
where you
right?
have this type of killer out there, and police have to communicate that through social
Oops. Sorry, guys.
media and
Press the
regular
wrong
media.
button.
And as you can see,
I want one of these
killers grow on
shirts.
their own, so it's up to them to control the message and get out there. And again, to this point, I think they've done a pretty good job about that. The cops know who they're talking to. When they say something publicly, they're talking to the victims' families, they're talking to the general public, and they're talking to the killer. And I can tell you right now, they're not going to name a suspect. They're not in the business of naming a suspect. They're not going to. Nor would they say that it's a serial killer. I don't think either.
Everybody's
These are things
frustrated.
that would not assist their investigation. And I promise you, they're only going to talk about things that will assist their investigation. They have psychological profiles saying this type of suspect, you should say these types of things publicly about this type of case. So it's very refined, very strategic, very planned out. And to this job, Moscow State Feds, in my opinion, I've been doing this over a decade, I've done an excellent job in communicating.
Got it. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we lost Mar again. I didn't realise I was all on my own here. I'm thinking Mar's being very quiet. They kick you out again, darling?
No, I tried to jump onto my router to see if it was acting up, but I think the router is crap because of the weather. You saw what I went through with the rain today.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that was that one. The next thing on our list.
Yeah, let's go over the timeline. I'm curious. I mean, who's honestly thinking that it could completely be a stranger that's been watching them?
Well, it'd be interesting to see. Now, I don't know how many people follow Twitter, but Mara and I do. Now, I mean, not religiously, but we do have a look on Twitter. And this person, Mara and I both follow. And come up. Came up the second time. Why didn't it come up the first time? I have no idea.
Yeah. I personally think it was just someone out of their circle that was just lurking.
Yeah, Gen X, there is a parking lot behind the house. Now this, I'll make it bigger so you can see, but what I'm going to show you now is Curtis of Sleuth the Goosey. She has put together a
I don't know
timeline.
Lucy. I assume that it might have been. I found it in my history. I think it is. I don't know though.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So, 11th of November, morning, Kaylee bought a Range Rover all by herself and left her mum's house to go and show Maddie and go to a Pi Phi party. Is that how you say it? Pi Phi? Is that how you say it, Mum?
I don't know.
All right. November 12th, Maddie paid Kaylee with a note coffee. And 10:59, Ethan paid Kaylee with a note thank you. So these are all the Venmo things. 11:10, Ethan paid Kaylee with a note yo. 2:30, Kaylee called her mum after sending pictures and telling her about how much fun she and Maddie had at the Phi Beta Phi party the night before. At 4 p.m. on the 11th, they went to the final Vandal football home game. At 8 p.m., Ethan and Zana were at a fraternity party at Sigma Chi. Now, underneath there, it's got Cry Havoc Play at Forge Theatre. That's something new. I haven't heard about that before.
Me
At
neither.
8:40 p.m., Ethan paid Jack Kay with a note, thanks. 9 p.m., Ethan and Zana left the frat party. 10 p.m., Kaylee and Madison are at the corner club. 10:15, Kaylee and Maddie are picked up from their house as per Kaylee's mum and sister. 10:20, Kaylee arrived at the corner club. Then on November 13th at 12 a.m., Zana speaks to her dad, Jeffrey, for the last time, and he mentions that she was hanging out at home with a boyfriend. Now that differs to the timeline again. 1 a.m., the two surviving roommates arrive home after being out in the Moscow community separately. 1:30, Kaylee and Madison leave the bar in downtown Moscow, and then they go to the scene on the Twitch video at the grub truck. And they look very happy, ordering their food, and then they get the now the private party was actually a sorority driver that brought them home. 1:45, Kaylee called. It was not an Uber. It was a sorority driver. Sorority house driver. Ethan and Zana arrive at the residence. The driver picks up Kaylee and Maddie. Kaylee and Maddie arrive home at 1:56.
So Kaylee, so what time does Ethan and Zana get there again?
Ethan and Zana arrive at 1:45.
Okay, so they come in 45 minutes after the girls that were not touched. What does that say right there? If it's somebody that was targeting the house. Since they weren't touched, they were obviously not the target.
Exactly. Neighbor Dakota Sparks, he and his partner have a tea tour, goes to bed and hasn't heard anything at all or seen anyone. That was at 2 a.m. 2:26, Kaylee's first call to Jack. Then she made
2:26.
Yeah, in the morning. And she made the second,
And
third,
I
fourth,
bet,
fifth.
Yep, and then
And
from Maddie's phone.
Yeah, the last call on Kaylee's phone was at 2:44 a.m. And then on Maddie's phone, there was 3 calls on Maddie's phone. One was at 2:44 a.m. and the last one at 2:52 a.m. 2:52.
Yeah, I think there was like off that call from what her sister said by like 6 minutes, but I don't think that 6 minutes makes a difference.
So
what time so we got the girls at 1, untouched.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, we've got Zana and Ethan coming home. And then what time does Kaylee and Madison get home?
Well, they get home around 10 to 2.
So right after Ethan and Xana.
Yeah, not long after, yeah.
Hey, Jennifer. So they're home.
Almost 2 o'clock. Almost 2 o'clock.
Yep. The girls are, yep. So within 15 minutes, they're home. So then within 3 to 4 a.m. is supposedly when the creeper came in. And then we have Kaylee trying to get a hold of Jack. And I wonder if she used Maddie's phone because Jack was not answering hers. But we don't know what Jack did on his end. We won't know for a while. Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
It's interesting how the coroner came up with the time of death of all 4 victims at between 3 and 4. Because the police weren't called until midday, approximately midday. That 911 call came from inside the residence saying one of the residents was unconscious. That's what they initially thought. So it's very hard to determine the time of death in weather like that because the cold, unless they had the heater on inside the house, the cold preserves the body. So rigor mortis sets in determine on the heat or the cold of the body. So,
I'm sure they had the heat on. It was dipping into the 26 that night, 32 or something. Yeah, they definitely had the heat on.
Anyway, so they say they passed between 3 and 4, but unless the girls just passed out in 8 minutes, I mean, can you fall asleep in 8 minutes? Sure. Would you be in a deep sleep? I wouldn't think so.
Unless you drink. They didn't look buzzed to me at the food truck at all. Hey, Christy.
Not overly buzzed. Did they have a buzz on? Yeah, I'd say they had a bit of a buzz, but I don't think it was staggering drunk.
Christy says, how come either Kaylee or Maddie didn't scream since they were in the same bed?
Very good question.
Well, one of those girls has defensive wounds on her hands and her forearms.
And
I think it was
depends.
Kaylee.
Sorry, man.
I think Kaylee's dad said that she put up a fight because of the defensive wounds on her.
And it all depends on where the defensive wounds are. It could be in the feet, it could be in the arms. It all depends if she's kicking the person or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean hands. And it all too depends, if a person is stabbed in the chest and it punches the lung, it would stop you from screaming if you've got a punctured lung.
But I mean, if you're out there watching, I mean, it could be an acquaintance. Like, I don't know who it is. I'm not saying that I know, but I feel like it was definitely a creeper watching. And for some strange reason, I just feel like something with the blondes, and maybe, like people say, maybe Ethan and Xana were just collateral damage. Wrong place at the wrong time. That is horrible. Hey, Nicole.
And the coroner didn't get there until between 5 and 5:30 that afternoon. So it's over 12 hours since they passed.
Yep. And they leave the cars for a couple snows to come falling on them.
Which is ludicrous. I mean, like I said to you this afternoon, I know the police officers and they should know better, but you can accidentally brush against a car by accident. Anybody can do that, no matter how diligent you think you're being. And they've had snow, like you said. Any possible usable prints that could have been on if the person had been out the front would have been unusable now. It should have been done on the day and got undercover ASAP.
Yep. I mean, the only reason I can think is that they just did not think that the cars had anything to do with the direct crime scene, is why they waited. Because they knew it was going to snow. But they did wait for the cars, which. But even like some of the profilers think it's like 50-50. He wore gloves, he didn't wear gloves. But if he didn't wear gloves and they do have his DNA, he might not be in the system.
True. Very true.
But then you would have thought that they would have been trying to collect DNA from the neighborhood. So that doesn't add up either. Because at the end of Brian Enton's video, when he's talking to the coroner / I forget what he is, he's got a couple jobs. It says that there was a person of interest. Is that the guy in the mask that was seen on the ring cam? Because the police verified that. All right, go ahead and finish. I'm going to see if I can find that police statement with the mask.
All right. Well, the rest of this is just when they released the first press release.
Yeah.
When so it's nothing else related to the timeline. It's just about memorial service held for Ethan. Police explain the crime scene. November 22nd. Blaine Street incident final determination. When Kaylee's father last heard from law enforcement.
She has no idea I changed the screen. Hey, Raul. I love her. Didn't you say that you were done?
Oh. Well, yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, sweet Caroline. No, I'm going to let you finish.
That's okay.
You know what, though? They shouldn't do that. If somebody has a screen presented and I go to present the screen just to pull it like into the back room, they should leave it in the back room. I didn't realize they were going to take yours off, you know? You know what I mean?
Chucked in the corner.
No, I thought it would have kept it backstage.
Oh, good.
Okay, well, this place is confusing me. This was out today, November 30th at 7:15 p.m. The Moscow Police Department is providing the following information to update the public on the known facts surrounding the 4 murders that occurred November 13th. Conflicting information has been released over the past 24 hours. The Lada County Prosecutor's Office stated the suspect or suspects specifically looked at this residence and that one or more of the occupants were undoubtedly targeted. We have spoken, okay, I can't see that, Lada County. Detectives do not currently know if the residents or any occupants were specifically targeted, but continue to investigate. Are you kidding me? Over 2 weeks, and you're telling me that it was targeted. Don't worry, you're safe. You know, just go ahead. And now we have that information. Like, I would be freaked out. I would be freaked out.
That's what I call a change of tune.
All right. I'm going to try to play this last video. If it doesn't work, then we're just going to wrap it up.
Okay.
But how? Okay, guys. Okay, what do we know, Kaz? We know that 4 people are dead.
Yes.
They've been friends for a long time.
Yes.
Now we know that one was already gone. She came back to show them the car. Kaylee upstairs with Maddie, same bedroom, trying to call Jack. Zanny and Ethan in their own bedroom, 2 downstairs. not touched. And then we have somebody who's they're saying it was a knife. Can you imagine what it would take to kill 4? I couldn't even get past the first cut. Like, we're talking about, like, this guy was in a frenzy. Like, how? Like, what would it take to do 1, then 2, and then 3, and then move on to the 4th?
Yeah.
Do you understand what that would probably take? I don't understand what it would take, but 8 to 10 pounds of pressure, they say, to make the knife go past them. Skin, the muscle, and the tissue.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple stab wounds on each person. Like, I don't know. Maybe the person was like on that. And I'm joking when I say this, but those bath salts, like the guy that ate the guy's face off under the MacArthur Parkway in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy ate his face off. I was living in South Florida then. I couldn't believe when the news came on. The helicopter flying by, and the guy was literally eating his face off.
Yeah. You'd have to have huge amounts of adrenaline pumping to give you enough stamina to be able to commit 4 heinous murders in that period of time. Because once that adrenaline stops flowing, talk about crash and burn would be an understatement.
But think about what it would take, and then to have, like, this is why, okay, they say they think he's 18 to 22. Some people are claiming he's a virgin. I don't think I don't know. I don't even care if he's a virgin. He's an incel. He's awkward. We've got the neighbor's video where he's came out today and said, I had nothing to do with the murders. I don't think the neighbor did. He's definitely a little weird, probably peeking up in windows. Might be a peeping Tom. But, you know, they start off as...
I don't think Jeremy did it.
I don't either. I just think he's a little awkward. Yeah, you remember that, Nita? That was insanity. Okay, so let's see if this plays. Wait, this is not the one I wanted to play anyways. I wanted to see, well, I do want to play the visual, so let's play that. But I do want to see that, you know what, Kaz, you might have to do one more favorite thing for me today. It's the Idaho student, the ex-FBI investigator reveals chilling theory. I don't think it's a video. Here, I can read it. And you can show the visual at the end. Okay, if you want to read it. Yeah, I want to hear. I haven't read this, but this was out yesterday. Well, actually, 2 days. Hey guys, it's December 1st. God, can you believe that Christmas is going to be in 24 days? Hello, Estella.
You know,
the older you get, like the older I get, the faster it goes. It's like, holy shit, slow down.
That is not in our note card, darling.
Yes, it is. I'll put it in the back room though. It's Idaho student murders ex-FBI. Let me put it here.
Oh.
You see it?
Yeah, I do. Sorry.
Okay.
Do you know what yesterday was for me? And I was sick. You know,
what?
It was my wedding anniversary yesterday.
Well, happy anniversary to you and the old man.
And I forgot because I was ill. And even Ross forgot. We both forgot.
You guys, man, I love you two to death. Yeah, bath salts money. And then after the guy, you know what? We'll end it with that. We're gonna play that. We're gonna play the helicopter footage of when that guy was eating that guy's face under the bridge. Okay, Kaz, I want to hear this guy's theory, but I don't want to hear like everything that we already know. You know what I'm saying?
That one, the Idaho Erie scene, that is the tow truck driver.
Oh, there is a video. Never mind, guys. Hang on. Let me share this. All right, let me see if yeah. A tow truck driver. No.
Oh, yeah, that link wasn't underneath the thing, darling.
Oh, look at the picture in picture. I love this.
Yeah. I've got her.
Kitty. Ooh.
Oh, you doing it?
Shh. I don't know if it's going to play. I got the cat yelling in my face. He speaks in Hebrew. I'm like, I don't speak Hebrew.
But he thinks you do.
No, you're going to have to pull it up. We're not going live again until I get my net done. But I want to hear what the eerie. I haven't heard this yet. I want to hear everyone's theory. All the profilers and ex-FBI. Stop talking back. Stop talking back. Meh. Curious to see. I'm kind of like writing notes of which FBI profilers and crime scene are saying which, and they're starting to say it's starting to seem like it's some creeper. You got it, Kaz?
Oh, yeah, it was pulling up about Santa's shortages. There's a Santa shortage. Did you know that?
Nope.
Not enough ho-ho-hos. There's a shortage of ho-ho-hos.
When perps are in psychotic rage, they don't care if they're caught, though. Whoever went in on these kids were not in psychosis. I agree. That's why I think this was a thrill kill. He was a stalker creeper. I can see him sitting up there in the bushes. Whose birthday is it? Happy birthday, Ashley. And hello, Ashley. Oh, your son's 4th birthday. Yesterday, now 3rd. Well, happy birthday to both of you. Oh, you're a baby. I have a kid older than you. Right? Kaz, you okay over there? You need a little kickstart.
I don't need no kicking, thank you. This article's all about Santas. That video, I mean, is all about Santas. So I'm just going to read the article. The videos, I don't think you need to see a Santa video unless you want a bit of Christmas cheer.
Oh, gosh, no.
It's all about shortages of Santa.
The Christmas music is going to start now. Oh, okay.
The quadruple murder of students that occurred at the University of Idaho earlier this month may have been a targeted attack caused by someone in the group's orbit, according to a former FBI investigator. Police have reported a significant increase in the number of welfare check requests that have been submitted in the 2 weeks following the November 13th attack, as well as a staggering number of reported unusual circumstances on campus. As a result, it may suggest the incident was not random, but rather a targeted attack. Just move on down. There are a couple of things that are starting to suggest that there was someone in these people's orbit that caused this incident to come about by this murderer. Bill Daly, a former FBI investigator, told Fox News on Sunday. Someone would have had to know the inside of the home, know their routine.
Happy birthday, Kaz.
Huh?
Happy birthday.
It's not my birthday.
I mean, I know your birthday is March, but I'm going to tell you, Lana and I are telling you happy birthday now.
Oh, okay.
She
Don't
meant
make me on.
anniversary.
Oh, okay. Daly's comments. I would have got less for murder. Trust me. And this is the second time around. Daily comments come just one day before students were set to return to campus after the Thanksgiving break, despite no suspect being named or arrest made in the murders that occurred in an off-campus home earlier this month. It's not clear how many students returned to campus with the unknown suspects still at large, with many opting to finish their classes remotely for the remaining 2 weeks of the semester. School officials acknowledged these concerns, instructing professors to make all classes available through both in-person teaching and remote learning. Each idea, concern, and fear has been heard and considered. We
Hey,
will
Debbie.
strive to respond accordingly. University President Scott Green told students in an email last week, "We continue to push for answers to this case while recognizing the enormity of the task ahead for dozens of law enforcement experts across all agencies." And he's bugging me. In addition to an increased number of Idaho State police officers on campus, the school will also increase its presence of campus security officers until further notice, according to Green. And it just goes, names of victims, as we all know, is Ethan, Zana, Madison, Kaylee. Each were murdered in their own bed, which is incorrect, and was stabbed in both the chest and upper body with a large knife. Well, that's more than what they said before, so we know it was upper body and chest. 2 other roommates who were staying in the basement, which isn't true, the ground floor, were left unharmed, with Daly pointing to that fact as evidence the attack may have been targeted. If it was someone on a rampage like a mass murderer, they would have also gone downstairs and harmed the others, he said.
He's a serial killer. My video was right. Look at that. He agrees that it's not a mass murderer, that it's a serial killer. And I bet I think he's got a couple of different traits of different serial killers.
Police have ruled out the 2 surviving roommates, as well as additional friends who were in the home at the time of the 911 call, as suspects in their investigation. Law enforcement officials have not yet identified a suspect in the case, nor have they retrieved a murder weapon, and that's disturbing. Police have also said they are withholding from releasing, that's not very good grammar, a profile of the suspect to avoid spreading fear among the campus population. It will potentially put more fear, more suspicion on a wide variety of people versus if we use that to really refine where
Get
we're
out
at.
of there. No, they got to go.
Who?
After what we spoke about earlier with those other messages, no, everyone's got to get out of Moscow. Lock your doors, get ring cams, and get out of there.
I think it will be more.
I would be driving out of there like the Beverly Hillbillies. Like I would just put everything stuck on the car and put a net around it and been like, Kaz, get your Rue ass in the car. We got to go.
I think it
to
would
the
be more
bushes with our binoculars.
We're going walkabout. I think it would be more pertinent, Aaron Snell, the communications director of the Idaho State Police, told the outlet. And so, if we just provide information to the public, I just don't think that it's going to be a wise choice. And that is the end of the article. Oh, so want those jumpers.
Are there any military bases in Idaho around that area, like Marines? Hey, the file.
I don't know.
I think it is a student that has a fantasize about killing and that it is someone known to the girls. I do not think it is someone who's done it before. I don't know. How do you... I don't know what kind of person would it take on a first time killing someone to go and kill 4 people? Seriously. I mean, and this be the first time and you don't freak out, you haven't been caught. They might know who you are, but or have an idea of what's going on that we definitely don't know, but that takes a special kind of nutter butter.
I'm not watching that video. Do you want me to play that video put in private?
Oh, you have to. You can't see anything. All you can see is legs. Oh, you have to play it.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, guys. Trigger warning. Hang on. Well, let's finish. Yeah, we're gonna end it on that. Let's finish talking. So, do you guys think it was? See, I don't know. I think it might be someone who saw the girls around. I don't know if they knew the person. I don't know, but I do know that it was somebody who was probably watching them up there in those spooky bushes. And I wonder if that glove that Chris found had anything to do with the crime scene.
Well, if it did, shame on them for not seeing that in the beginning. That tells me from a forensic auditor perspective that they didn't do a good enough job checking those fronts around the front of the house for any
and going back to that, hello Elizabeth, the file, going back to that horrible story where that lady's poor dog was like skinned. Like I couldn't even who does something like that? But they say absolutely just not related. It's like they put out things they shouldn't put out, like the type of blade that it was, but then they put out information that they should put out. Like we shouldn't have known what type of blade it was.
No. But
it should have stayed a sharp instrument like most do, but they let that right out.
Well, and this is only my opinion, guys, and I don't personally think the coroner who did the autopsies is qualified enough to have done the job that she did because she's not a doctor. She's only a nurse. Her current qualifications is that one of a lawyer. Her nursing degree was from years ago. So I know it's... How the heck did she get the job of a coroner to do an autopsy is beyond me. I mean, somebody enlighten me how a person of less than a doctor's qualification can do an autopsy.
This is an update page on what goes on in the murders.
All right, hang on a minute, sweetheart.
But look at this. Look at what the Moscow Police Department is made up of. 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers, and 5 support staff. Do you see how little that is? But then they've got the Idaho with 20 investigators, and the federal's got 22 investigators in Moscow.
All right,
22 assigned.
Sorry, Don. Spencer B said she didn't do the autopsies. All right, so what if she didn't do the autopsy? Then what role did she perform? Then she just pronounced them dead.
I think the one that did the autopsy is the man that Brian Ensign talks to at the end that looks like Santa. That's the coroner. He wouldn't do the autopsy. It would have to be a medical doctor.
See, over here, it's a lot different over here. Even a coroner must have at least a nurse practitioner, current nurse practitioner qualifications, which is almost a doctorate. They can't have anything less than that, and they must have studied under a medical examiner for at least 5 years, and they must keep those credentials current. like she still is the registered RN, okay, but she is a lawyer. Okay, she is elected, I understand that, but it's crazy that somebody that doesn't work in that field on a day-to-day basis can get elected to that position. I know it's a small area, I understand that, and they might not have the people to be able to do that. But surely there must be a hospital around there that has somebody that's still working as an RN, or somebody. I know you guys have nurse practitioners over there.
Okay, listen how interesting this is. Spokane County completed the autopsies on the 4 University of Idaho students and sent the findings to the Lotta County coroner. Spokane, Washington. The Spokane County Medical Examiner has completed the autopsy on the 4 University of Idaho students who were killed inside a house near campus. Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
Let's see if that's
see over here. A coroner's.
See if you can play this. I'm going to put this in back chat. Just see if you can play that. It might be her. Weird. That's a lot of work to Spokane, Washington. I mean, I'm sure it's close to Idaho. It is close to Idaho, but I'm sure it's close to Moscow, I mean, to choose Spokane, Washington. Yeah, let's see how close that is. How close is... Oh, stop. Spokane, Washington. Okay, so it's an hour and 31 minutes. 79.1 miles. 27 north to the US 195 north. Or you can take the 95 north. So that's the distance from Moscow to Spokane, an hour and a half drive. Hey, Allie. So if there's, a lot of people say he doesn't have gloves. He did have gloves. Oh, look there's a fingerprint on the window. I bet do you know how many, could you imagine what they have to go through as far as fingerprints with everyone that is probably in and out of the known, it's a party house? And even not even just being a college off-campus house. Can you imagine how many fingerprints are in that house? You think so? Ethan, Moneymaker? I think he knew. What if he was in the house when they got home, like that one guy said? Oh my gosh. You guys better lock your doors.
Okay, you ready?
I mean, oh, I love that picture of Money Moves. That's a great picture. That is, just think, what if I think he was standing up there in the bushes and he was watching. I think it was Kaylee and Madison that he was going for. I think he went over that balcony. I think he went in and did what he was going to do. I think Ethan or Xana woke up, and I think they were collateral damage. But the question is, how long was he in that house before he actually left? And how did the two bottom roommates not hear a thing? I don't give a shit if you got earbuds in. Can you imagine what the screaming was going on? Especially if Maddie and Kaylee were in the same room. And what is he doing? Stabbing multiple times with one knife in each hand? I mean, someone's got to wake up and be screaming at the top of their effing lungs. How do you not hear that? I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
came in like a creeper ninja on that balcony. And then I think he put that chair in that balcony in case someone tried to get away.
Last time. I'm Mark Hanrahan. The official report detailing their findings and their recommendations has been sent to the Latah County coroner. That coroner will be the one to make the official ruling on cause and manner of death. The 4 students were 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, a freshman from Conway, Washington, 20-year-old Xana Kernodal, a junior from Post Falls, and 21-year-old Madison Moak, senior from Coeur d'Alene. Xana and Madison worked together at a restaurant in downtown Moscow. The 4th victim, 21-year-old Kaylee Gonsalves, was a senior from Rathdrum, Idaho. She was a sorority member and had already lined up a job for after graduation. The Moscow police chief addressed the media for the first time today. He answered some of our questions about the case. Chief James Fry said all 4 victims were stabbed to death. The weapon has not been recovered. He said there were no signs of forced entry into the home, and at this point, they do not have a suspect. And because of that, he said it is possible there still is a threat to the community, and he urged the community to be vigilant and aware of their surroundings.
No, leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting a dime of my money. You're not getting a dime of my money. We have to go until they find the killer. Because think about it. If it is a person that has done something like this before and just never got caught, which I really hope that that's not going to be another almost 6-year wait like the Abby and Libby case. Because even if he had gloves on and he was dressed with a mask, clothes, with that frenzy of taking 4 people out with a knife, he had to have left some type of DNA. Especially with one of those girls with the defensive wounds and putting up a fight. Like somebody had to get like a piece of skin, hair, something. What if he's not in the system? What if he is a transient? Like the guys say, he'll just fit in. Just,
Yeah, like you said, I hope it doesn't go on like the Delphi murders 5 years down the track. It's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we have to pray that they catch him, and that policeman needs to stop saying that nobody's in danger when you've got somebody on the streets that killed 4 college students in their rooms. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, go enjoy Thanksgiving and come back. Do you think that it was done before Thanksgiving for like it was a special time? Is it a full moon that night? Like what the F?
Yeah, it was actually.
No, don't even.
It was.
You know what? I was just coming out with that, and because I got a little weird sense, and I was thinking, damn, was it a full moon that night? Lurking just before Thanksgiving? Talk about, could you imagine these family members and friends of every Thanksgiving to come to think about? I couldn't. I would have to be sedated.
Why do we get these?
Because it's trying to tell us something, Kaz. Obviously we need sex. We get it. We don't want girls, though. Bring the free girl chat boys in here. Jeez. Coming into a room of mostly women, and you want to give us a free virtual girl. Where's the free virtual man? Get the fuck out of here with that. Nita said 13 days after Halloween and after 3. Was it really a full moon on the 13th into the 14th? Hang on, I gotta check.
I knew you would.
Hang on. November 2022, a full moon. Nope, November 8th was the full moon.
Oh, was it number 8? Oh, okay.
It popped up at 6:02 a.m. Eastern. The Beaver Moon. Well,
pardon?
It's called the Beaver Moon.
I've never heard of that before.
You know what a beaver is? Like when I say I'm going to get in the your box, I left it in your box.
Yeah, I know what a beaver is, Ma.
Well, you said you didn't know what a beaver was.
I know the animal, and
Look,
I've heard that terminology for something else.
Look, it's a beaver.
Oh, well, see, I call that a blood moon.
Oh, Kitty, you're gonna have to. I gave you. I know. He wants to have a full conversation right now. It was November 8th. Okay. All right, we're gonna after this video, we're gonna wrap it up, but we're gonna play something trigger warning. This is the guy in Miami that was on bath salts, and he literally he ate this guy's face off.
I can't believe I'm playing this.
You can't see what he's doing, but you can tell that he's under the bridge, not doing something nice. But it's definitely a trigger warning. But I couldn't. I remember I was in Fort Lauderdale and I turned on the news and the helicopters were live in Miami, and I was like, and then a couple months later, some naked wild man was running down the streets of Delray Beach and like tried to open the gate of this kid and this girl, and he was naked and attacked his sister, and something like how powerful and how strong he was. Like, it's crazy. Whatever these bath salts are.
Things she makes me do.
Trigger warning, guys. Look away if you don't want to see somebody get a naked man eating a homeless man's face off. Now's the time to exit. But you can't really see it.
It starts with an idea.
Thank God.
The commercial first. Hang on.
You cannot make this up. And what does the headline say? It's like cannibalism or something. Like, this was crazy.
Yeah.
But now there's a happy ending to this story, because the homeless man that had his face halfway eaten off, he ended up getting his face fixed, like reconstructed, and of course he was no longer homeless.
So I told him, get off. You know, it's like, and the guy just kept eating the other guy away, like ripping his skin.
Larry Vega describes it as a scene out of a horror movie on the MacArthur Causeway exit, as a naked man chewed off the face of another naked man. Vega went to flag down a Miami police officer.
Police officer came over, told him several times to get off, and the police officer climbed over the divider and got in front of him and said, get off. He told him several times, and the guy just stood his head up like that with a piece of flesh in his mouth and growled.
When the attack continued, Vega says the officer fired, but the man continued to chew flesh off the victim. The officer then fired several more times, killing the attacker. A Miami Herald surveillance camera caught the aftermath as the two men lay side by side on the ground.
It was just a blob of blood. You couldn't really see, like.
Okay, Kaz, that's good.
The victim was taken to Jackson Memorial Hospital with.
All right. That's the point. But anyways, like, could you imagine turning on the news and here's helicopters flying around because there's two naked men under the MacArthur Causeway in Miami and one's getting his face eaten off?
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a scary world, and that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
What year was that?
I didn't even look down, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I was like in my teens. I'm only kidding. Probably my 30s.
Yeah, neither. That was definitely zombie apocalypse.
And the dog. Somebody mentioned the dog, the file. Yeah. The dog must have been going ballistic. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Chisney's back.
What about that? Like, I'm curious to know if the dog had blood on him. Like, I don't want to see pictures. I just want to hear.
Well, apparently,
facts.
Apparently the dog was fine.
Hey,
and
Allie.
He was taken to an animal shelter, and then he was given.
How does it sound?
Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. It only took you 2 hours and 19 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up, and now here she comes. Unbelievable. I think she does that shit on purpose because she really doesn't want to come up. She just doesn't ever want to say no because she's afraid that you'll beat her ass, Kaz.
Oh, yeah, right. So I could beat anybody.
But how do you know the dog? Wait. Let's back this up for a second. We got two girls coming home at 1. We got a couple coming home at 1:45 or 1:30 or 1:40, whatever that I can't. And then we have the two girls coming in at 150, 154.
Mm-hmm.
And then within an hour and 10 minutes, all 4 of them are dead. And who gets home last? The 2 blondes.
The girls.
Who comes home first? The ones that aren't touched. Who comes home in the middle? Ethan and Zanny, which are on the 2nd floor. And I am convinced that he came through that door and he put that stool into that frame. That bar stool didn't just flip off and land in there like that. You could make that a game at the carnival. It's only going to happen like maybe 1 in like 5,500 times. Hey, Raybird. Raybird in the house. Do you get what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
So either he couldn't possibly think he was going to go to a 3rd floor with people in the house and do what he was going to do to Kaylee and Madison with a knife and not expect anyone else to wake up in the house. So were all 4 of them targeted? Or was it all 3 and Ethan was the wrong place, wrong time? But I believe the killer knew. I believe the killer knew he was in there and he still went in. I think he was watching up in those trees. I'm convinced of it. From day 1, I told you this, Kaz.
Yeah, you did. But if he was watching, darling, he would have known that Kaylee had left, packed up and gone. She'd moved home.
Yep.
So
but maybe
there.
He was stalking them, and maybe he's out that night when they were at the corner club and he spots her with them, because he comes into the play right after the girls come home. She's about to get fired from school. Okay, so Ellie put the 2 bar stools in the kitchen sliding door. Okay, that makes sense, because there's no way they fell in the door like that.
No. I love what Lana says. Are you reading this?
The principal? Please.
Yes. I'm the principal.
And we're the beauty school dropout bad students. But I'm thinking he knew that Ethan was there. I think that guy was definitely watching from the bushes. And I wonder if that was a glove that he left that Chris found. We have to pray. But I think they have his DNA. I don't think he's in the system.
No.
All right. Chisme, you have anything you want to say before we end it?
Earth to
I can't
Chisme.
with her. I can't with her, Kaz.
Chisme.
She does it on purpose.
Chisme. Girl. Woman.
She does it on purpose.
Where are you, woman?
Right.
I'm still
All
working
right,
on the sound.
I can't with her. I can't, Kaz. I'm going to have to
All
call
right,
her after
guys.
this live. And I'm calling you, Chisme, after this live.
Oh, she's left. She scared her up.
No, you scared her. All right, guys. Everyone, thank you for coming in. Kaz, thank you.
Thank you too, darling.
All right, guys.
Thank
Keep your babies safe and stay vigilant.
And if you could do us the greatest courtesy, if you haven't already, by hitting the like or dislike, whichever you prefer, which would greatly help the channel to hit that algorithm mode. We greatly appreciate it. And thanks for coming. Love to see everybody, and see you next time.
Good night, everyone.
Ciao, Bella. And